I don't know. It's still not over yet. I'm just very frustrated. I wasn't planning on putting all this into this engine, you know? So. All right, guys, so we start a new morning here. So yesterday, I got the car running. We put the warrantied out carburetor on, and the engine just will not idle. Hardly at all. I've checked for vacuum. We have absolutely no vacuum leaks right now. The timing's dead on. But one thing I did check when I had the engine revved up is cylinders 1 and 5 won't hardly even burn water off the header tubes. But the other cylinders are burning, from what I could tell with the infrared gun, around 300 and some degrees. So showing me that I have 2 weak cylinders on this motor. So what I'm going to do, I've got our compression tester here. I've got the gas pedal wire wide open. We're going to spin this motor over and we're going to do a compression test on all 8 cylinders and see what we have. So what I've done, I've marked them 1, 3, 5, 7, this is driver, 2, 4, 6, 8 on the passenger side. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through and we're going to spin this motor over and try to get a test on every one of them. So let's do that and I'll show you guys what we come up with. Alright guys, so we've completed the compression test and I'll show you what I was using here. I'm using an actual snap-on, if you can see that or not, compression gauge. All 8 spark plugs were out. Gas pedal wired open, so this is our numbers. So number 1, 85. Number 3, 85. Number 5, 75. Number 5, 75, I'm sorry. Number 7, 80. Number 2, 70. Number 4, 60. Number 6, 110. And number 8 looks like 82 or 85. So under my understanding of how a combustion engine works, that you need at least 95 to 100 pounds of compression for the engine to properly run. But there was also some factors in this too. Could it be valve adjustments where the valves are hanging open? So far I've pulled the valve covers and all the valve stud stems are all the exact same height. It doesn't look like they've ever been messed with. So, because if you have them too tight, it'll hang a valve open and you'll lose compression and everything. But the car runs, and as you rev the engine up, it does take RPM, but it will not idle for any reason. And it's just running really, it's never ran right since I've got it in here. So I'm not for sure what to do. Yeah, pretty bummer. This motor is supposed to be, I believe, a 10-to-1 compression ratio. Now your cam timing and all that kind of stuff and whatever camshaft will determine like how much cylinder pressure it can build. But I would think a 10-to-1 motor should be somewhere around 130 to 170 pounds of cylinder pressure. So either this motor has been overheated and the rings have lost their tension, or there's something wrong with it, because it should have a lot more than that. It should actually run right. So that's where I'm at right now. So it's not looking good for the old Z28 here. So far, I just finished up the compression test, and this is what I got before I oiled the cylinders. And after even oiling the cylinders, they came up a few, but there's only one that's hitting over 100 PSI. All the other ones, and this is a 10-to-1 small block Chevy. It should be doing at least 130 to 170 PSI, you know. Something has happened to this engine. I'm not for sure. I can only just make assumptions. Enough you start knowing what a good running combustion engine feels like, and then one that doesn't. Now, it makes no lower end noises. It's really, in the rotating assembly, sounds great. It's got good oil pressure, no issues there. But I noticed even, you know, when we went to the muffler shop, I was like, this thing, I can't really get it to idle without having it idled up high, and I've really got to give it a lot of gas to get it to run. And if you notice when we were choking it, it only runs with a lot of fuel and stuff. So that's another thing that leads me to believe the motor's weak. And so here's the results of the leak down test. With the valve train disconnected, using compressed air set at a PSI of 100, we averaged 92 to 94 PSI holding in all 8 cylinders. But I do have some decent news though. And like I said, I'm not upset with the person I bought it from. It's just, this is the game you play. This is a hobby. Now, if this was something I had to get back and forth to work to feed my family and all that, I'd be pretty pissed off. But this is play stuff, man. And I could sell the motor probably for what, if I didn't want to use this engine, I could probably sell it for parts and get my money back. So, but I've contacted Blueprint, and this motor was built in July of 2022. And they offer a 3-year, 50,000-mile warranty on their engines. It's transferable. So I called them with the idea of, because they know all the specs on this engine, they built a ton of them. And my thinking was, I'll take it apart, I'll run a home through the cylinders, re-ring it, take the heads, have a valve job done, and then put it back together, and I'm really pretty certain it'll work. You know, as long as none of the cylinders are cracked or a head's busted or something like that, you know. So I called and talked to them, and I'm supposed to have a tech call me back. He's gonna go over some of the stuff that I tested, and maybe he's got a few of the things I can test, and maybe see about possibly helping me out with some parts or something, or I don't know. I don't know what they could really do, because I'm not the one put it in the Monte Carlo when it was, you know, I'm not the one that did that, and I don't know really what happened to it, but really any help I can get from them would be much appreciated. But really the next step, I think, is to pull, we already got to do something about a transmission anyways, and now just like changing gears, I may just call Rick over at the R&R Transmission, have him rebuild this automatic, because really I'm ready to just kind of get it running and like focus. I don't want like a fresh motor or freshly rebuilt engine and a whole, you know, different transmission setup. I don't want to work all those bugs. I want to just concentrate on one section at a time. So like to get the car running, to get a new motor on the road and get it broken in, or this one fresh, something, it needs to work. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to contact him. We're just going to rebuild this automatic, and then the engine's got to come out. I'm waiting their call. We're going to talk about it, see like what I can do with it and what other tests they want me to do. But as of right now, it needs to be freshened up. It's been damaged. It needs to be gone through. So, but I'm optimistic, man. I mean, here's the thing, something's going to happen with it. I'm not getting rid of the car. I love this car. I will get something done with it. I may come across a Tahoe with an LS and a 406. I don't know, but you're going to see it here on Corey's Garage. So we're going to get something done. But thanks, guys. Appreciate your support. My channel's got 808 subscribers now. So thanks, guys, for doing that. I appreciate that. It's really neat to watch this grow, and it's really fun doing this. Like, even though I run across some mishaps, and it's a pretty big investment, I'm having a good time. So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one.